You might notice as you begin to listen to this, your attention naturally shifts, effortlessly from one thought to the next, just like that, without having to try. And isn't it interesting how easily your mind can follow along, without any effort at all, even as you're aware of the words, and yet allowing the meaning to unfold in its own way, just as it needs to. Now just for a moment, imagine for yourself what it might be like to understand the power of language. Not just the words themselves, but the way those words move, change, and even shift your thoughts, perceptions, and behaviours, without you needing to control anything at all. The more you explore this idea, the more you begin to notice how words can guide you effortlessly, as if leading you towards a place you've always known was there, even though you weren't always aware of it. And now, as you let that sink in, it's like you're beginning to grasp just how naturally you can take in the changes, almost as though they're simply a part of the flow of your thoughts. Isn't it fascinating? And while you're noticing that, it's so easy to start thinking about your own capacity for transformation. How sometimes it's just a matter of shifting perspective, or allowing yourself to see things in a new way. You might even think of times when something changed for you in a way that felt smooth, natural, and almost effortless. Perhaps it wasn't something you consciously planned, but when it happened, it felt like the most logical thing in the world, like you were ready for it, and it just flowed into place. Now let's pause for a moment and consider what it might be like if you could begin to notice how language patterns are already working in your life. Patterns you might not even be aware of, just like the way your mind can make sense of a suggestion and feel the subtle shift without needing to question it. Because after all, when you think about it, how much of what you believe to be true is already woven into the way you use language each day? Perhaps you have a belief that change takes time, but at the same time, isn't it also true that change can happen in the blink of an eye, or in the very next moment, in ways you didn't expect, and in ways you can't quite explain? As you reflect on this, you might find your mind is naturally drawn to the possibility of transformation, just like that, in an instant, without the need to think through every detail. And isn't that what's so fascinating about change? It doesn't always need to happen through effort or struggle. Sometimes it's enough just to be open, to allow it, and to trust the process. And right now, as you're open to this possibility, you're already beginning to notice the power of your own unconscious mind, which is always working in the background, always guiding you towards what's most useful and meaningful. Now imagine you could continue to trust this process effortlessly, as if it were as natural as breathing. What might happen if you could feel more deeply the connection between your words and your inner beliefs? What might you realize when you begin to see how your own language shapes your experiences and your actions? How would it feel to understand at the deepest level that everything you need to make lasting change is already within you, just waiting to unfold at the perfect time? And when you notice that, when you see the potential within you, it's as if you already know you can change, that you can transform, that you can shift your focus whenever you want. You can easily redirect your attention without effort, just like that, focusing on what you want, right here and now. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes, because you've already begun to notice the way these shifts naturally happen, without needing to analyze, without needing to control. And as you continue along this path, you might find yourself becoming more and more comfortable with the idea that your thoughts, your beliefs, and your perceptions, they can evolve in the most subtle of ways. And isn't it true that sometimes change happens before you even realize it, until one day you simply find you're different, or something has shifted inside you? You may not even remember exactly when it happened, but isn't that exactly how profound change occurs? Quietly, naturally, in the background, when you least expect it. And so, as you consider all of this, it's easy to begin thinking about how you can continue to build on this understanding, by becoming more aware of how words influence you, how your beliefs guide your actions, and how language patterns can create a powerful path towards a future you desire. Each time you think about this, you might notice how the possibility of change grows stronger, more real, and more within your grasp. And as you explore this, you might begin to recognize how easy it can be to make lasting changes, simply by tuning into your own inner language, guiding yourself with the same effortless flow that you've always been capable of, even without realizing it. And as you think about this, you might notice you're starting to feel more confident, more aligned with your goals, and more open to the changes that are happening right now. Because as you know, change is already in progress. The foundation has already been laid, and it's only a matter of time before the shift you've been waiting for becomes your new reality. All it takes is to allow yourself to trust this process and notice the results that you'll see unfolding naturally. Now, as you consider these thoughts, it's almost as if you can feel the excitement building, the anticipation of what's to come, knowing that your mind is already taking you exactly where you need to go. And with each passing moment, it becomes even easier to let go, to trust, and to allow yourself to flow into the change you've always been capable of. And so, as you continue to listen, as you sit in quiet reflection, you may realize, on a deep level, you already have everything you need to make the changes you desire. Your mind is always capable of guiding you towards your next step, effortlessly, naturally, and in the most powerful ways.